History changes the instant Makoto decides to stop, try and belong. It's not an explosion of power, not a grand battle, nor a direct confrontation with the goddess. It's something much quieter and much more definitive. The decision that redefines Tsukimichi is born when Makoto understands, once and for all, that that world never accepted him and never will. And from that point on, he chooses to follow a path of no return. After being rejected, cursed, and cast far from human civilization, Makoto undergoes trials that make his place in that world clear. He cannot communicate with humans, receives no divine guidance, and is treated as an anomaly whenever his existence comes to light. Yet, he could have tried to approach, negotiate, seek some kind of reconciliation with the human system dominated by the goddess. That was the expected path, the safe path. But Makoto chooses another. He decides to stop living for a world that despises him. This decision manifests itself when Makoto begins to build something of his own outside the direct influence of the goddess and human society. By uniting marginalized races, establishing his own rules, and creating an independent nation, he ceases to be merely a discarded hero and becomes a real factor of imbalance, not out of ambition, but out of necessity. He understands that continuing to try to fit in would only keep him trapped in an unjust system. So he chooses to protect those who, like him, have been rejected. This is the breaking point. From then on, Makoto no longer reacts to the world. The world begins to react to him. This choice changes everything because it breaks the indirect control of the goddess. Makoto doesn't rebel openly, but his mere independent existence is already an affront. He grows in power without blessings, creates prosperity without divine approval, and proves that the world can function outside the aesthetics and rules imposed by the goddess. This alters the balance between humans, demons, and forgotten races. The conflict ceases to be merely physical and becomes ideological. Makoto represents the possibility of a world that doesn't revolve around divine will, and that's something that can't be ignored. What's most impactful is that Makoto doesn't make this decision driven by hatred or revenge. He doesn't seek to destroy humanity or confront the goddess directly. He simply chooses to live according to his own values. But in Tsukimichi, this choice is more dangerous than any war, because it exposes the flaws in the system, weakens divine authority, and attracts unwanted attention from all sides. From that moment on, every step Makoto takes carries political, symbolic, and historical weight. He ceases to be a discarded mistake and becomes a silent threat to the world order. This decision doesn't just change Makoto's destiny. It redefines alliances, intensifies tensions, and prepares the ground for much larger conflicts. The world of Tsukimichi enters a collision course with itself the instant Makoto decides not to turn back. And when someone chooses to walk without asking permission from the gods, there's no way history can continue on the same path. If this twist captivates you and makes you look at Tsukimichi with new eyes, perhaps it's time to continue following his journey as far as it can go.